morning, friends and Bitcoiners. Welcome to another wonderful episode of BCN Crypto Kickoff. Hope you all are having a wonderful, exciting day. It's a little chilly down here in Florida, but that's all right. We don't mind it because we don't have snow. That's the important thing. So, hello to everybody out there in Instagram world as well. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mr. Clifford T. Mitchum, and I am also the educational director of Bitcoin Crypto News, and I will be your host for today's BCN Crypto Kickoff. So, what we like to do whenever we start off the show is give our crypto shout outs. Number one shout out going out to our friend and supporter, Mr. Paul Rouleau. Thank you for joining us today. Our number two shout out goes to our man, the guy that I always catch before I watch this show, Mr. Eugene Forrest over at Bitcoin and Coffee. Good crypto shout out to you and Sam. So everybody be sure to catch their show. It comes on Mondays at 8 a.m., Wednesdays at 8 a.m., and then they do an evening show on Saturdays. We always like when they give a shout out to us. We do our best to give a shout out to them. So if you don't catch it live, go ahead and catch it on the replay, but do your best to catch it live. Lots of questions, answer those, interactive. Love to see it. Another crypto shout out going out to Mr. Johnny Block for sharing, liking, and passing on the information of BCN Crypto Kickoff. We love to see that happening. Thank you all for doing that. So now, let's get into it. We start off our show by going over our disclaimer. The information provided in this show is for educational purposes only and is not financial or investment advice. For financial or investment advice, please speak with a licensed professional. All right. And we also have a good crypto shout out and thanks to our sponsor, Crypto Quick. Crypto Quick is an online directory and resource to find local businesses that accept cryptocurrency. If you have not claimed your listing or created your listing, be sure to get out there, do that, cryptoquick.com, and let them know that you found out about it on BCN Crypto Kickoff. That way they say, hey, this show's pretty good. We like doing this stuff. And they go ahead and give us a bigger budget. Or at least provide more for the show. Anyway, let's get into it. So, Bitcoin last week, the week of January 6th going through January 12th, Bitcoin started off the week at $4,078.59, finishing out the week at $3,661.30. That is a drop of $417.29, or about 10.2%. Now, much of this, it's pretty much what we expected. A little bit of lull after the big pop at the beginning of the year, or the little pop at the beginning of the year, and just as we move into this time of year, there's generally a low in crypto. So it's nothing more than what we expect, about 10% range. I was thinking closer to 7, but it was relatively modest as far as cryptocurrency goes. So nothing too huge on that. Still a great opportunity to get in for somebody that's looking to do that. I know I actually picked up some more last night, just in anticipation of things coming in the next couple weeks, because you got to have a little bit of a long-term vision. January is generally the slow month and slow quarter of the year in Bitcoin. Whenever you look at it for the year-on-year historicals, 2017 was a big gangbusters year, so that was a little bit, out of the ordinary, just as far as what we see as far as growth. But it didn't have a huge slide off in January either. But it did have a slide off, and that's the thing to keep in mind when putting together a game plan. We do expect to see some bigger things coming out. I would say another week of a little bit low, lackluster performance, if not flat, we're going to see a small, modest gain, probably I would say in the 5% range. Nothing too huge. But the week after, once we start getting more movement in the back, we're going to see what's really going to pop off. If the back comes through and we see that people are getting excited about it, that's going to open up greater market activity. However, the back goes through and I think it's going to be manipulation and things going to be pushed down, obviously it's going to tank, which just means another opportunity to get more cryptocurrency. So let's look at what's been going on this week, last year. In this week, Bitcoin started off at $17,527.30, finishing out the week at $13,980.60. That is a drop of $3,300 $546.70, or 20.2% decrease. So as we see, last year, same trend. It's just a downward action just for the beginning of the year. However, it was double last year. Excuse me, last year was double what we had done this year. So a 20% drop. Overall, not that significant when you look at what was going on in Bitcoin. We know in hindsight, this was the route it took as far as it completely, turning into the bear and, never seeing these heights for that entire year. The main thing is just to note the overall trend, which would be a downward trend, which is expected and normal for January. And just with the amount of activity that was going on last year, that's why you see so much of a larger trend down with the 20% over the 10% that we saw this year. Overall, still nothing to worry about. Still makes great opportunity for somebody that's looking to get in. Like I know myself, looking to get in. So I'm getting more right now. Hopefully it'll start to turn around and I can get some profits. But if it doesn't, it gives me opportunity to get more and take advantage of the new regulatory framework and all of the adoption that we're expected to see for this year. So now, taking a look at Bitcoin. Next week, last year, that would be the week of January 13th going through January 19th. Bitcoin started off that week at $14,370.80, finishing out that week at $11,607.40. That is a drop of $2,763.40, or 19.2% decrease. Again, last year we had that bear market trend just continuing to go down. This year, I would expect it to be more of a level trend on that. The slope just not going to be as steep. Uh, with the back, people are really tentative as far as what's going to happen. A lot of the news has been promising just as far as their initial offering that they had $182 million that was brought in. People are still expecting institutional involvement, so they expect to see more of those institutional players getting in the game. There have been a lot of unofficial institutional activity that's been going on, just traders that have been making moves, and I wouldn't say hedge funds, but big whales that are expecting to have some activity going on in the cryptocurrency space, getting in and begin to move around and play in it. Cryptocurrency is not the same animal as the legacy markets, so it takes some getting used to, and the familiarity that they have is just growing. So you have more of those players entering the market. I think it's going to be pretty promising with the back, so I expect to have a trend moving towards the upside, but only time will tell, and we shall see. So let's move on into our quarterly activity. So last year in Bitcoin, going for the quarter of January 1st through March 31st, Bitcoin started off the quarter at $13,625, finishing out at a lowly $6,973.53, or a $6,651.47 drop. That is a 48.8% decrease in the fiat value of Bitcoin. It's just what happens. The first quarter of the year is generally bad overall. However, a 48% decline was not what everybody was anticipating, particularly off the run that we had in 2017. Now, this year, don't expect to see anything that dramatic. Uh, the first quarter, again, has been a down quarter, but I don't expect it to be so down going on to this year just because we have so much adoption. We have so many governmental organizations uh, and bodies that are actually starting to incorporate cryptocurrency, get regulatory listings for cryptocurrency. You see it going on all across the world because it's not localized to just the US. I focus on that because I'm in the US. However, those of us around the globe can see more regulatory infrastructure being put in place so we can expect greater involvement. Just as everybody gets their game plan together, the second quarter is where we should see a pickup. But overall, I expect to see a bit of a drop over this quarter. Now, when we look at what's going on for quarter to date, just see how quickly this drop is happening. Or last year, how quickly the drop was happening. It started out at 13,625, and at this point last year was at $13,772. That's a $147 gain over what was going on for that time and a 1.1% increase. But when you look at this graph, you can see in the early portion of the month, you have that big jump and then it slides back down. And that sliding trend is what we're going to see for the overall quarter. So looking at that in comparison to this quarter, I would expect something similar in that range. Not a huge drop. There's just so much activity going on and so many people on edge as far as what's going to happen between the backs, between the uh, Goldman Sachs desk, between the Fidelity desk, between the JP. I don't think JP Morgan has a desk yet, but they're working on it. But all this activity we have coming on in the first portion of the year, people are getting really excited about that. That institutional involvement that we've been expecting for years looks like it's finally starting to come through. They have these trading desks established. I don't see them just not using them and just mothballing them. It's just how that goes. So as everything prepares for that, I can see a little more activity building up towards the February timeframe when these desks actually go live. So now when we look at what's going on this quarter, this year, up to date, as of January 1st, Bitcoin started off the year at $3,746.71. It's finished up to this date at $3,577.03, which is an overall $169.68 drop or 4.5% decrease. Not a whole lot. The key to note of what we see this year is the sharp spike, flat, spike down, flat, spike down again. And that trend is just the whale activity. Uh, it tends to happen at midnight, so it looks like it's people have it set for automatic transactions as far as the bots go, or somebody that has the funds and prowess to actually, get automation put into it. Because if it was people actually doing the trading, you wouldn't have as sharp of an increase. I mean, these graphs, you see these points going straight up and straight down. You just don't have the natural activity of traders moving in that steep of a slope. I mean, it's vertical. So this looks like it's completely automated for it. Now, whether it's what whales it is, I don't know. Who does? It's going to take some investigation as far as what wallets are moving and how much, what exchanges are moving at those times. It's just a lot of automation that's depressing and increasing the market swings here. But overall, you can just see the basic action in between those points is relatively flat. So the natural hodlers and the natural line of the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, everybody's stable. Everybody's just waiting to watch and see. We just have some whales that are throwing funds around just to maximize whatever activity they're doing. But overall, I do not believe it will have an impact on the growth of Bitcoin, and we'll still see an overall upward trend coming, or downward trend for this quarter, but upward trend overall for the year. Do have a joiner in our Instagram chat waving out to Miss Nita QRA. So thanks for joining. Glad to see you out there. And let's move on to our top stories for the week. All right, so the big stories of the week. Bitcoin ATMs continue to spread across the globe. This is an article came across our Twitter feed from Bitcoin News. Crypto, shout out to you for posting that. And it goes on to say there are now over 4,000 Bitcoin ATMs throughout the world. Global statistics provided by coin at coinatmradar.com show that most of the machines, also known as BATMs, can be found in the US, though their presence is steadily growing not only in developed European countries, but in Latin America and Asia also. So the key thing to keep in mind, ATMs are popping up everywhere, and that's a lot of people's first introduction to actually getting their cryptocurrencies before they get on exchanges. Because exchanges aren't everywhere. Some people don't trust exchanges, and I mean, it just makes it a lot easier because people can see a face to machine and actually interact with it, so that way they can go ahead and take advantage of getting their cryptocurrency wallets opened up. Keep in mind, a Bitcoin ATM transaction isn't like a standard transaction. You put your card in, put your PIN in, and get funds out. You go to the machine, you set up your accounts, you then deposit cash, It's a little more involved process, but nonetheless, it's a lot of people's first actions in getting cryptocurrency. Plus, it's a way that people already have established coins add more to their accounts and expand their holdings. So it makes it convenient, easy for greater growth, mass adoption. More we see these that we see, the more mass adoption we will also see. So we love that that's happening. Good on the Bitcoin ATM community for doing that. We have another joiner in our Instagram chat. Hello, Miss Bitcoin Odessa UA. Thanks for joining us. Pleasure to see you out there. Our next article, the day Bitcoin became electronic money. This came to us from bitcoinnews.com across a Twitter feed. The Bitcoin Genesis block was mined on 9 January 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto, bringing the first 50 Bitcoins into existence. It took 3 full days before the first Bitcoin transaction was placed on the 12th January 2009 in block number 170. When Satoshi Nakamoto sent 10 Bitcoins to Hal Finney, who was the first, who was one of the earliest, if not the first, to start running a Bitcoin node. So everything came to life. Everything that we're doing now stands on the shoulders of what Hal Finney and Satoshi Nakamoto did that day by getting the node started and started passing around some funds. So we love to see it. Good crypto shout out and thanks to Hal Finney, Satoshi Nakamoto for doing your work, opening up this whole crypto space and sphere of influence you've had. Stay safe out there and keep up the great work. Just I bring up this article because we have to remember our history, how things started, where it came from, humble beginnings, and the like there. All it started with one man. A lot of people think you can't change the world just by being one person that's too small and the world's too big. But it always starts with just one person that touches another person, and it grows from there. So keep that in mind as you start your endeavor for your projects and your involvement in the crypto space. Our next article, Ethereum Classics 51% attack is a lesson for altcoins. This one's coming to us from Cryptopify. Crypto shout out to you. The now confirmed 51% attack on Ethereum Classic has put altcoins on notice. While reorg attacks are part and parcel of the risks of decentralized systems, a number of altcoin communities have taken steps to avoid such attacks on their digital assets. For others, the ETC attack should be a lesson for altcoins to secure their network before they suffer a similar fate. So, only about 1.1 million ETC coins, or a value of $1.1 million US fiat, was lost in this attack. It does go to show the vulnerabilities in this. Charlie Lee actually said that it's, you know, part of the game. It's inherent risk factor of decentralization. And I tend to agree with him on that. You have to have everything open to prevent the current financial crisis and established system that we have now. It overall doesn't work for everybody. And that openness means you have to be proactive in protecting it. Making sure you have security is first and foremost. A strong community is the best prevention against such attacks. But the thing about it is, that preparation. The larger that community, the more difficult a 51% attack is. That's why it's more difficult over Bitcoin because it is so big. Ethereum Classic, I guess it was picked because they felt they could manage that attack. It was pretty limited as far as the reaction to it was, pretty swift. I know Coinbase froze all transactions and movement across the coin, so it didn't participate in it. But it's just the risk. Life has risk. We got to take risks. If you don't take risks, you can't get the rewards. So good on the ETC team for getting together and handling this as best they could. Kudos to the community for being proactive and not making this a worse hack. Because as far as hacks go, not really that much. And the more difficult you make it, the less juice that hackers get out of the squeeze, the less likely they're going to go down such an endeavor because it's just not worth it. But protect your neck. All y'all coins, get your security together. Our next article. 2 new pro-crypto bills passed the U.S. state of Wyoming. This is an article coming to us from bitcoinnews.com. hitting the top stories twice. Good on you guys. Crypto shout out double. All right, so two new bills aimed at fostering supportive regulatory environment for blockchain and cryptocurrency innovations have passed the U.S. state of Wyoming legislature. Caitlin Long, the president of the Wyoming Blockchain Coalition, informed the developments in her recent tweets. So now the two bills are going through in Wyoming. The first one it goes through and it states that uh, cryptocurrencies aren't securities. So it allows that flexibility. So saying that in the state of Wyoming, they don't have to follow the same rules and regulations of a standard security because they're not giving out the particular incentives and ownership in the project. And the second bill, it goes on to state that, oh, what was the second bill about? Uh, oh, it was being more supportive to fostering crypto and blockchain companies and projects in the coming into Wyoming. Now, it's going to be voted on still through the legislature, so it's not official and passed, but it does have movement through the committees. So it's great to see this happening. Ohio is also on this train with accepting Bitcoin taxes or accepting tax payments in Bitcoin. Overstock.com was the first one to take advantage of that. So it's great to see this moves and these steps towards mass adoption and growth coming in for it. Like I said, the regulatory infrastructure is coming in. The welcoming environments are being put in place. We can only see upsides going on for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Our next article, SEC's Office of Compliance Inspections and Examinations highlights cryptocurrency as focus point in 2019. This is an article coming to us from Toshi Times, Crypto Finance News. Crypto, shout out to you for posting the article. The news comes in recent OCIE report entitled 2019 Examination Priorities. Put simply, this document calls for increased focus and attention towards cryptocurrency industry and market. The cryptocurrency industry is one of the OCIE's six focus points for 2019. It's on their radar. The biggest thing that this means is that the SEC is looking to understand more how cryptocurrency works, how to put this animal, this wild beast that it is, into not necessarily a pen, but to put bumpers out to make protections for the consumers. It's not wholly nefarious or bad to see this kind of activity. It's just looking to see that people are protected, that you don't have the scammers, that protections are in place to, stop scammers, halt them, get back at hackers, get something so that there is incentive for people to have growth in it and some protections for people that are already in the crypto space. It's what's necessary to get the introduction of the legacy markets and the steps towards mass adoption. I don't see it being something that replaces a US dollar overall, but it is something that will bring in US dollars and pull away from the recession that's expected, the depression that's expected, as the irresponsible financial activities of the legacy markets have created and the debt that they've burdened us all with. Cryptocurrency can bypass much of that and be independent of it, but it's got to have some rubber gloves or some soft kid gloves so that way it can be more acceptable for the legacy markets. So we see it coming in. Overall, these are the top stories that I picked. If you have a top story you think should be across the feed and included, reach out. Find us on Twitter, particularly because that's where we get most, if not all of these from. Or just let us know in our Facebook groups, YouTube groups, and chats around in social media space. Tribes, Minds, MeWe. Reach out, touch someone in those spaces, but not in a bad way. We don't need the doll. All right. Anyway, and our next segment is our BCN 1 Minute With, where we take 1 minute and introduce a new currency project for you to get interested in. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist in the sense that everything has to be Bitcoin, because I do see opportunity across the other altcoins and other projects. But you got to learn about them. You got to understand, what's going on with them, so that we don't just get suckered into whatever ICO sounds glamorous and all the promises they're putting in. So on Monday we do the show, so we didn't post anything. On Tuesday we posted a video for Redcoin. Redcoin is a social tipping currency that's made to be on top of social media platforms. Uh, Check it out. Great project. Great way to pass around little bits of funds. Instead of just liking, you can actually end up donating and supporting a project instead of just a like that's wonderful, makes people feel warm and fuzzy, but money makes the world go round. And we get the cryptocurrency, allows them to expand and gives them incentive to do more. On Wednesday, we had Omi's Go, which is a currency project. So that way you have a peer to peer platform to move funds around the world. And you can check out that one by checking out our video from there. Thursday, we had VChain. VChain is a project for distribution and tracking of distribution products. They have a lot of work going on with RFID. In particular, they're working with luxury goods so that way they know where they're going, where they came from, and tracking them along the way. Interesting project. And then Friday, we did Ethereum Classic, which is a smart contract platform that's actually a fork from Ethereum itself. And it's the original code, uh, however somebody wants to say that. But their project is based off the philosophy of code is law, must be immutable, not changing, not going back anything set in stone. The code governs all. So that's their philosophy. But by all means, check out that project. Uh, they have had some issues with developers lately, but overall, it's still a solid, base, solid project to look into and consider. And check out that video. So now, Bitcoin Crypto.news is actually a fork or spinoff from the largest crypto meetup, a Bitcoin meetup here in Southwest Florida, Bitcoiners of Southwest Florida. They meet the first Thursday of each month. Their next meeting is coming up February 7th at 6 o'clock at the Butterfly Estates. Get in touch with them by going to meetup.com and searching out Bitcoiners of Southwest Florida to get together with some other crypto enthusiasts so that way you can actually talk about crypto without your friends, just rolling their eyes back in their head or just getting sick of you. You have somebody that can actually bounce back and is enthusiastic about it. So be sure to join us for that. Now, the best resource that I can do is provide our consulting. We have courses on Bitcoin, so that way you can learn how to get in with our Bitcoin 101. Open your first wallets, learn what Bitcoin is, and learn how to research. We have our Bitcoin 201 that allows somebody to go from just Bitcoin to getting on exchanges and expanding their portfolio and getting more into the nitty gritty of that. And then we have our Bitcoin 301 and 302 that actually goes into trading strategies and shows you how to profit from owning Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Just the tricks of the trade in those two courses. So reach out, they're by appointment only, and we can get you set up to learn about that. Now you can find us on social media. We've got Steemit accounts, which I'm going to be updating not this week, but next week. So we'll finally get everything caught up because I've been really lagging on my Steemit and my DTube. We'll get up to date on that. We also have our Minds accounts. It's an alternative to Facebook. It's a growing site. Lots of stuff I'd rather not see, but that's part of the lack of censorship. In an open space, you have stuff, people saying things that might be offensive. Okay, get over it, move on, focus on whatever you're doing. But I do like Minds for the information it puts out and the community I have built around it. We have MeWe, great platform, very interactive, very responsive. I really like the layout that they have in their performance and such. You can find us on Tribes. Tribes, for me, runs a little bit slow and it's cumbersome, but we still has great content and lots of wonderful people in their community. We're on there as well. You can find us. And then you have us on the traditional markets, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You can find us there. In the description below, you'll also find our referral links. Be sure to, if you're going to open up a Coinbase account, you're going to open up a Cryptopia account, you're going to open up a Binance account, use those links below, and that way we can get credit for introducing it to you. And finally, we have our donational addresses. Along the bottom, if you'd like to keep this show running, not just supporting our sponsor, Crypto Quick, but just to make sure we have things to do and show that your support for us, we accept donations. Any of the links below. If you have a coin you'd like to donate to us, we don't have a link there below. By all means, reach out, let us know, and we can get that added. So now, as we mentioned before, to get ahead, it's going to take a little bit of risk. But in the crypto space, you've got to risk it for the biscuit. Risk is directly proportional to reward. Higher the risk, higher the reward. I'm risking it on Bitcoin. And hey, you see if that's something that works for you as well. I'd like to thank all of you for coming out. See you again next Monday. And have a wonderful week. Thanks, Paul. You have a great day, sir. Thanks, everybody on Instagram for coming out. Hope you enjoyed it. We will see you next Monday. Be sure to stay across the feed on Twitter, on Instagram, so you can see our BCN 1 Minute With. And keep in touch. We'll like your videos, follow back. Have a great day.